And and most everybody's off on that Friday, so it was. I mean,
Right.
I don't think. I think the game itself. I mean, we really didn't have much high expectation. Might have been in the preseason, but once Aaron Rodgers was out and this, that, and the
Right.
third, and
Right.
then who was there? Oh gosh, who was their starting quarterback? Was it? Um, I cannot believe I forgot the Jets starting quarterback. Tim.
Um,
No, is it
um,
Tim? No. Oh gosh, I can't believe I can't. Gosh, like
they've had
I don't
so
know.
many starting quarterbacks this
I
year,
know.
so it's
Yeah.
okay.
But
So
think about if
yeah.
they'd have had if Aaron Rodgers would have started. Like it just I'm just happy that they trying to put more sports on TV, man.
It was Tim Boyle. I just looked it up.
Tim
It was the
Boyle.
starting
Yes,
quarterback.
Tim Boyle. Yes, Tim Boyle. Oh my God, Tim freaking Boyle.
Hey,
But
Cam's still out there. Call Cam.
They
nah.
might as well. Well, although Aaron Rodgers is going to
Ooh,
practice, so I don't know whatever that means
RG3.
for him.
RG3 said he
They,
could still
they
do
done.
a
No, he barely outran Dabo Sweeney. No, nobody want him. He all right. He barely ran.
Coach be
Yeah.
positive.
No, I'm just saying, dude. You should see him when he was covering Clemson. He Dabo lapped him. I know he might won't go in as fast, but Dabo got him on the hill. He done. He done. And just keep it a bug. You got that 50-year-old Dabo Sweeney. What 50? About 55, almost 60.
Yep.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah,
But yeah. So we got a great show lined up for you. So we'll talk about the latest firing in NFL as the Panthers yet again has fired the head coach and Frank Wright. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the NBA play-in season play-in tournament quarterfinals are set. So we're one step closer to Las Vegas for next Saturday, not the Saturday coming up, but the following Saturday final. Then of course Jordan's here. We got to talk about Colorado football. Was this year a success or was it failure? Games to watch this weekend, picks, and kind of see what's going to happen with this college football playoff because obviously we'll be predicting all the 5 conference championship games. So we'll talk about that and then give our game ball and our thoughts. So we'll take a brief time out. We'll be right back here on Couch Coach Live and we'll get it going. All right, so we're back here on Couch Coach Live. We got a great show lined up for you tonight. So we definitely got to talk about the elephant in the room that is Frank Wright, as now currently the former head coach of the Carolina Panthers, fired this week after a 1-10 season. So essentially, you look at how with this Panthers last think about it, they were 30th in yards per game this season, and also 19th in points per game this season. So Chris Tabor is taking over as the head coach for the Panthers, and he immediately did not waste any time. He got rid of. Don't laugh. It's holidays. I gotta stop doing this. So he got rid of quarterbacks coach Josh McCown and also running back coach Deuce Staley. If you're familiar, Frank Wright was fired almost this time last year on November the 7th when the Colts were at 3-5-1. They made the change. So he's the only coach since the NFL merger has been fired in 2 consecutive seasons in the middle of the season. That's a record. And then also this Carolina Panthers team also made a firing almost similar when they got rid of Matt Rule on October the 10th of last season after finishing at the 1-5 start. So, Joe, I'm gonna consult you first, Jordan. Your thoughts on Frank Reich, the firing of this, and then what's next for this Panthers organization?
I'll just say the Panthers are. I'm going to word the word dysfunctional. I mean, you look at who they had last year. They fired Matt Rule, like you said, but then they have Steve Wilkes, and Wilkes was actually pretty good, 6-6. I know one of our friends that we know, Jennifer Matthews Lewis, really wanted him as the head coach. Why they didn't go that direction, I have no idea. I think they just figured, Frank Wright is more of an offensive guy. He's going to get them going. He didn't really do them anything with the Colts. Did get them to one playoff appearance, but it's just you're asking a rookie quarterback in Bryce to be a veteran quarterback day one. That's not going to happen. That's basically what they expected. They expected, to rebuild, and it's just not happening. Where they go from here, who really knows? It's just such a dysfunctional franchise. You've already, messed up with Wilkes. Then you went with, Matt Rule before. They just need somebody who's going to stay there for a couple of years, like Matt Rule did. But the question is who? I really have no idea at this point. It's just a dysfunctional franchise.
Yeah, I agree. What you got, Maui? Your thoughts?
I mean, once I looked at everything, I was like, it's basically the same thing. It's you got to start with the franchise first. Like all the controversies you've had since the new owner, Cam leaving, Rivera leaving. It's just, and then you trying to start over. It seemed like you need to get things situated with your organization, and then gradually you went and got this. You went and got this coach, and I've seen his resume. His resume is not that bad, but it's just something is there that. Something's there that basically he don't seem like something's not working, and it seemed like he got in a situation where he didn't have no power because they saying that he didn't want this quarterback anyway, and it's like I think the first thing you should focus on, to me, I know everybody wants an offense, but if you could just have a top 10 defense, I'm a Steeler, so my quarterback I still have questions for, but at least the defense can step up and win us games. You know what I mean? And you putting all this pressure on his quarterback, and he has issues. He's short. So what do? You have to figure out a way. You have to do, because I don't know how tall Jalen Hurts is to me, but I always felt like he was a small quarterback to me compared to most. You know what I mean? I think Tua seemed like he's a small quarterback to most, or short quarterback to most. So you got to have necessary schemes. It just seemed like, I know this much, Carolina basically is paying two coaches a lot of money. There's a lot of money that they're kicking out to these two coaches. That's Rule, because they still owe him about 35 or $50 million, right? Right, Coach?
I think they owe him. Yeah, they still owe him.
Yeah, they still owe him some guaranteed money. And I know if they just signed this dude last year, I know they owe him some money. So what? I don't know, man. I think I don't know, man. I don't I don't know what they're gonna do. I think there's a lot of franchises though, man, that's kind of been through this. Like, look at the Texans right now. Seems like the Texans is doing a great job rebuilding right as of right now. They went and got a coach that's highly respected, went up, you know what I mean, and he's new. And he seemed like a player coach, and it seemed like everybody's gravitating to him. And look at their success they're doing. They got to do the same thing. Stop hiring other trash. I don't understand that. You know what I mean?
That's what everyone does, though, in the NFL, unfortunately, is they bring in coaches who haven't been successful. Look at the Raiders with Josh McDaniels. Great example. I definitely agree with you. I bringing in other person's trash when you know they're not a great head coach or coach.
Now,
most
I do think he may. I will say this out of respect. They should have gave him 2 years. You know what I mean? I hear.
Agreed.
I hear it's a dysfunctional. It's like the Browns too. Dysfunctional organization. You know what I mean? But they made their way. I mean, look at the Browns now. I mean, I still think they're a little dysfunctional. That's why they made some decisions. Look at their quarterback. They still got the same issue. The Browns do the same issue, quarterback issues. So I feel like they and you got to take baby steps. You know what I mean? Like I don't think you. I think you need to go get you. What's my man that used to be at Miami? That's the defensive coordinator for the Vikings.
Oh, Flores.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying. Maybe I see you, George. That ain't nice. But I'm just saying something like that, a defensive minded guy, and then have some offense, just something. Stop trying to just get a big offensive minded coach, because when the offense don't work, what's gonna happen? You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those. It doesn't surprise me. I think there's been rumors about him being fired as early as like the first, second week of October. So it's kind of one of the things I kind of knew they were going. I thought it was probably a situation where maybe they just let him at least play the season out. But I mean, it's just one of those where he was supposed to be there to kind of get this the boat going for this. Obviously, you get a guy. And Bryce Young, he's the number 1 overall pick. You got to surround him with that offensive type of personnel. You look at, and I thought this was going to be a situation where he was going to build, obviously, with Josh McCown being the quarterback's coach. I definitely thought he was going to kind of emerge down the line as maybe the head coach for this team or the offensive coordinator or something down the line. Also, you got a guy like a Jim Caldwell still on the staff as well. So I thought they provided him with at least some good coaching to at least get him a foundational type of coaching experience. I didn't think this was going to be a long-term solution for them. I figured this was going to be something that down, a year or two this will work, and then maybe like Josh McCown will step up and he'll, become like kind of the heir apparent as far as from the offensive standpoint. Now, as far as what's next for the Panthers, I mean, it's literally going to be the most unattractive job out of all the jobs. I mean, if you think how Schefter is saying it's probably going to be 7 to 10 coaches, this is going to be probably the last one that's going to be filled, because you think about it, you mortgage your future, you got rid of now a guy. We talked about it last year as far as trading up to get the number 1 overall pick from the Bears. You also added in a guy like a DJ Moore now, who I think even if he would have had a quarterback, if he would have stayed in Carolina, he could have had the same type of production, because you look at the inconsistency that's going on in Chicago, where at least Bryce Young has been the consistent on this team. You would think DJ Moore would be a 1,000-yard receiver, and then then another thing, even if you would have whiffed on that one, you don't have the number 1 overall pick, so you can't get like a guy like a Marvin Harrison to help have somewhat kind of create a duo in Carolina. And it's to a point where, I mean, and it's these coaching options. I mean, these guys going to have a lot of teams that going to be buying for their services. So these candidates are all going to be as faithful as to the options that are presented to them. And I could definitely count on my hands so many different position coaching vacancies that are going to happen that are far more attractive than Carolina. So it's going to be kind of one of those where, and it's just, and then you think to yourself, you look at the track record of Tepper. Like you look at just the fact of how he's 1 year in and 1 out, and now you look at like a guy like a Frank Wright, his career is done. He will never be an NFL head coach just due to the fact of this situation in Carolina. You couple with that, and then you look at, even if you're like a retread coach, do you want to take this chance? Do you want to take this opportunity to become, and then essentially your career can be over in a sense because of this one stint in Carolina. And even if you're a young guy, this can set you back. We talk about like guys like Brandon Johnson, one from the Lions, then the coordinator for the Eagles. These type of situations, it could potentially hurt them as well. So it's kind of one of those where it's going to say that job in Carolina less.
There's going to be somebody who wants that. Who that is, I don't know. I mean, one guy I want to see get an NFL head coaching job. He's, Eric Bieniemy. He deserves it, but I don't want him in this mess.
Yeah.
What about what's the quarterback? That was the quarterback coach, offensive coordinator when Tom Brady was with the Bucks.
Byron Leftwich.
Yeah.
Oh, he coming to y'all. If he ain't coming to Boulder, he coming to y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Well, he coming to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
he making a beeline. Unless he go to Colorado, we might talk about that.
A
Can we
little bit
talk about
later, but I thought I
that?
did.
Jordan, potentially.
Right.
You know,
Uh,
because your boy went to San Diego State, so I mean, it's opening now. I mean, I'm just saying, if
That's
it be,
all. That's
it'll be
really.
either Pittsburgh or wherever.
I mean, we get there. We talk about it. Jordan on the show.
So but yeah, that's just gonna be such an unattractive job. Like you said, somebody's going to take it, but it's just it's.
You think my man,
It's
the
gonna
offensive
be
coordinator for the Rams or the Chargers? I'm sorry.
Kellen Moore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Ah,
that's not a bad thing, but the problem is again, it's such a dysfunctional franchise. Even if he gets the job, will they let him coach a year, even a year? I don't know.
Yeah.
and that's yeah, because that's funny. That's one of we kind of were talking about as far as a guy that's young that could potentially ruin his future by going somewhere like this. And that's funny. We talked about the Johnson from Detroit and Philly, but like Kellen Moore would be another one where it's like, ooh, this might
I mean, look at
it
Miami
could
with
never.
that young dude. Look at him. They
Yeah,
gave him the weapons, though. They gave him the weapons, though. They
Mhm.
definitely gave him
That's
the weapons.
true.
and they had the quarterback. That's the thing too. Where that's the
Yeah.
good thing about that situation with him, and
So you don't
and
think
now
Bryce
we
Young's
see
a
what
quarterback?
happened. Yeah, I think he is. The
Against
only
these Giants?
thing, but the thing is, he's a good quarterback. But like when you look at it now, like C.J. Stroud should have been that. But that's my theory too. And I don't know if I don't know if you think like this too, either, Jordan. I think Wright and McCown wanted C.J. Stroud. I think that was something that I didn't
Yeah.
even looking at it from a naked eye perspective.
Yeah.
That was like a given because you even look at their body language. You can even tell that even when they had dinner with him, they were like smitten. They're like, "Yeah, we're gonna find you a basketball court in Charlotte." All kind of stuff. Like there was a lot of stuff where you're like, "This ain't fake." They wanted him.
Yeah, they wanted him. Yeah.
They wanted him, but then
So
they drafted Young. So that was Tepper just saying this is who we're going to get. And then Stroud obviously is a better player for sure.
yeah,
I did think
Yeah.
the Panthers would be better, though. I thought they had, some weapons. But when you really sit there and really think about it, like they gave up McCaffrey, they gave up a lot of shit they should have kept. Like, why would you give him up? Like you already paid him a bunch of money, and then
Yeah.
you just gonna let him go? Like that just lets you know something going on with the owner, man. Like something really going on, like or somebody there is
Mhm.
not listening to. Oh, you don't want to be here? Let's go. Like, nah.
yeah, but it's a good thing for Frank Wright. Hey, but that's another thing where you feel for like especially like Josh McCown. When another one we talk about how like these young guys get these opportunities and we think they're on a path and then that path just veers off a cliff and crash and burn and that's
Mhm.
probably gonna happen with Josh McCown, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So we gotta talk about the NBA in-season play-in tournament. I know there was a lot of confusion, which in a weird way, I think Richard Jefferson did a great job during the summer league, kind of explaining it. So this is the kind of the good thing about the situation. So obviously, we talked about the play-in tournament in the summer, and we'll talk about a little bit earlier this in going to the season. So obviously there were it's 30 teams in the league. It was five. So it was 3 teams. It was 5 teams playing in one particular group play. So now the group play is over. Now we're at the quarterfinals where you had your 3 group winners and then you had your wild card. And that's in the East and in the West. So in the East, the number 1 seed is the Milwaukee Bucks. And the number 4 seed, which is going to be the wild card, is the New York Knicks. And they'll play on Tuesday. Then the other semifinal in the East is the number 2 seed, Indiana Pacers, versus the Boston Celtics. And they'll play on Monday. All right. And then in the West, we got the LA Lakers as the number 1 seed. They'll face the Phoenix Suns, the wild card team. and they'll play on Tuesday. And then we got the number 2 seed Sacramento versus the number 3 seed New Orleans Pelicans, and they'll play on Monday. So the winners of these games on Monday and Tuesday, they will head to Las Vegas for essentially a semifinal game on Thursday night, and the winner of those Thursday night games on next Thursday, not tomorrow, but next Thursday, will play in the championship game for the in-season tournament. Their 83rd, their +1 game, and they'll play that on next Saturday, the December the 9th at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So, who you guys got in these semifinals, and who's gonna take it all the way in Las Vegas? We'll go with you first, Jordan.
Geez. I mean, you've got some teams that I didn't think would be there, and other teams that I thought were going to be there aren't they? Like my Nuggets. But if you look at it, I gotta go with the Bucks, Boston. Gosh, the Kings have played pretty well. I'll go with them, and then I'll go with the Lakers. And honestly, I could see the Lakers versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Why not? I mean, then you have two teams with two superstars playing against each other for the finals.
Yeah, for sure. What you got, Maui?
I think the Lakers won it. I really think the Lakers going to win. I think they got the most. They seem like that's when they planned the hardest.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say the Bucks. I gotta think. Who would I really think squeeze through? I want to say the Kings. I think I'm reaching because I want to say the Bucks, but I don't know. I'm gonna say the Bucks. I'm just going to agree with you, Jordan. I'm just going to agree with you because I really don't feel when I'm watching like the off-season games. I see they seem like they're dragging, but I really feel like that when it's the in-season the tournament, it seemed like I see the Lakers playing hard, and I don't know, the Bucks to me just seem like they always trying to prove something. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they have only one championship with Giannis, so of course you want to win another one. I mean, I know this is the in-season tournament, but exactly what you said. Yeah. Now they want us to buy into it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go that too. I might be reaching. I'm gonna look at something one more time. But go ahead. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, so I think you looking in the East. I definitely think the Bucks will beat the Knicks. I'm gonna have the Celtics over the Pacers, so then that'll set up Boston versus Milwaukee in the semifinal in Vegas. Then I think the Lakers will beat the Suns. Then I think that I think the Pelicans will get an upset. I think they'll beat the Kings in Sacramento on Monday. Right. So then that sets up the two semifinals. So give me I'm gonna say the Celtics over the Bucks on Thursday night. And then give me the Lakers over the Pelicans. So give me a Boston LA NBA in-season tournament championship game. Even though it's not gonna be for title number 18, but it's kind of, I think it's gonna be somewhat of an appetizer, and a lot of people are gonna think, oh, this can really happen. We can potentially be down this path. So right. I think it kind of gives some people kind of like, oh, like this could happen. This could potentially happen. So, and it'd be fun, like you said, and it kind of break out the monotony of, because even though next Saturday, and NBA is so fantastic with this because they don't have to interfere with college football, so they just, obviously it'll be Heisman Trophy night, which I mean, I think it's gonna be a guy from your conference, Jordan. I don't want to kind of tease it, but we'll talk about it more in my predictions, I think. So I think it's going to be kind of one of those where it's going to be an interesting night for that. But I think it is not going to overshadow Lakers versus Celtics potentially.
That sounds good, man. But that'd be crazy if the Knicks win.
It would be. Anything is possible with this in-season tournament.
Right. Yeah, and in one game, that's the beauty thing about it. So it's not like a 7-game series where it's like, all right, we already know, okay, Celtics, Bucks and the Lakers. Like if it was a 7-game series potentially, especially out of this group. But it's one game.
I know we got to move on, but I got a quick question. Do y'all really feel like Kevin Durant then lost a step?
He's 35.
I mean, when you get older, of course you're going to lose a step. Like Couch Co said, he's 35. How many good years does he have left? He doesn't have that many.
Damn, man.
Yeah, because
just,
I think, because he and I think it was what's going to really realize, people will realize the sad reality of it. Everybody's not LeBron James. Not everybody's built to play 21 seasons and can be as effective. It's just, it is what it is. And I think, we starting to learn that a lot, especially in the NFL, like with Tom Brady. And nobody's gonna stay at 45 no more. And same thing could go in the NBA. Like, yeah, I mean, hey, he's 35. Like, and you got to think about his injury history as well, too. I mean, obviously, the vast injuries that he's had throughout his career. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, 35, man. That's you're an old man in most circles in the NBA. I think we just look at LeBron James as exception to the rule, but everybody's gonna always be compared to LeBron James for like longevity at this point.
I feel you. It's just that when I heard, I was like, damn, that came out of nowhere to me. I was like, damn, but you're right.
Yeah, but him is weird because even though he's lost a step, it ain't bad. Like he hasn't fallen off the staircase. Like he might have dropped from the top floor to maybe about the 7th or 8th step. But I mean, he's still, if we 35 and his injury history is still, he all right.
Man, that Pelican Kings game is gonna be interesting.
It will be for sure.
For sure. So we gotta talk a little college football. So we gotta talk a little Colorado Buffaloes. So obviously, a year for Colorado. Obviously, we're almost a year to the date of the first Pete Thamel report that Colorado was going to hire Deion Sanders and pretty much turned the college football world on its axis right around this time last year. You look at just the popularity of the Buffaloes. You look at obviously having that 3-0 start, and then celebrity role at these games and what have you. And then obviously guys did finish at 4-8, 1-8 in the Pac-12. Obviously started 8-0. I mean, started 3-0. 1-8 in the final 9 games. Obviously, I think the low light. Obviously, you look at that 29 point. Having that 20-point lead against Stanford and then losing that on a crazy Friday night, Friday 13, I might add, which is so bizarre. But that's just some highlights of this Buffaloes team. So, just your thoughts on was this season a success or a failure? What you got?
Of course, it was a success. I mean, you take Deion Sanders, who's come in, and we were 1-11 the year before, so the expectations weren't that high. I think I was on. I can't remember what show I was on. I said if they win 5 or 6 games, it's a success. 4 isn't even a success, just because Deion came in. We were 1-11. We won 3 more games, 4-8. I mean, we let some games go by, which we could have been bowl eligible. You're talking about the Stanford game. That was a crazy game. We're up 20 some points at halftime, and next thing you know, we just blew it. But really, we fought back against USC. We were down in that game by a lot. Came back and only lost by 7. And you look at the Arizona game, a game which we should have won. We lost by 3. So the thing is we're still building a program. The one thing I want to see from Deion to make this even more successful is you have to fix the offensive line. We saw Shedeur Sanders, our quarterback, get hit so many times this year. And it's just it wasn't his fault. It was just the fact that the offensive line couldn't do anything. He had 6 sacks, I should say, 56 times. That's just far too many. But the thing is, though, we're building a program next year, going back to the Big 12. I mean, it'll help us. We don't have to play USC. We don't have to play Oregon.
Right.
It is definitely a success. Next year, though, I want to be at least bowl eligible. That's what I'm looking at. And because I'm not expecting to be in the college football playoff conversation. A lot of people are next year. I think it'll be one more year before we're in the college football playoff, even though it expands next year.
I know, and we'll talk about that. I definitely got my thoughts on 2024. But yeah, what you got, man?
I think it was a great success. I'm not just talking about how many games they won, is the revenue that he had come in. Not
Mm-hmm.
just for Colorado. He made everybody money. Everybody got to understand that. He made everybody money. And because of that and the promotion, all it did, honestly, I'm not even going to say anything negative. It gave us something to talk about. It gave every channel something to talk about. It kept Twitter popping. It kept YouTube popping. Like it did everything that you're supposed to do. He is the unicorn. He is Muhammad Ali. He's all those guys. This is Coach Prime and everything he brought. All those coaches that's leaving, they're going to get jobs, and you know what I'm saying. So and because they was able to deal with when they was high and when they were low. I have nothing like the sacks. I feel like I watched every game, bro, and I dissected. I watched it more time, and I felt like sometimes Shador, like sometimes I felt like he knows defenses, and sometimes if you know it's blitz, you supposed to know how to make certain adjustments. You know what I mean? I am a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I watched Ben Roethlisberger have some of the worst lines in the world, and I also watched him make certain audibles and do certain things that help that offensive line do better. So that's just my take on that. The last game, I felt like y'all should have won. I think they took those 2 touchdowns from Travis Hunter. I think he is a unicorn also. And I
Oh,
think
I love Travis Hunter. I wish he
I
wouldn't have gotten
cannot
hurt this year.
wait. I cannot wait because I told my buddy he has something that Jerry and Moss don't have. He's going to have the height, but I said they're like a kite. They were stiff to me. But he's more like a Japanese or Asian kite, where they were like a dragon because the way he catch the ball, he can move his body a specific way. You know what I mean? And I said that's different. That's kind of Antonio Brownish to me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's freaky, scary. Like, but y'all was supposed to win that last game, and that would have been great. I can't wait to watch the second season of Prime on Amazon Prime. But definitely the success. I mean, just a lot. They saying all the recruits. Is it true? All these recruits is really leaving?
They're decommitting, but I think they're worried that Dion's going to go to the NFL. There has been no word that he's going to move on.
I don't think he's going anywhere, bro. I don't think he's going nowhere. I still one of the last things I saw was the guy. I don't know if it's a general manager or who, a dean or whoever, right beside him on the football field talking to Dion, and they both had their glasses on. And I feel like that's a
Mm-hmm.
relationship that's gonna last a long time. Like I don't. I mean, maybe it's me. You guys know about more about this, but I feel like I don't know, man.
I mean,
I don't feel like he's going anywhere.
the last I heard, he said, "I love Boulder. I'm not leaving." But we've heard so many coaches say that. I definitely think he'll be here for the next 2 to 3 years, though.
Yeah, and as long as he do his contract, that's all you have to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too is a lot of these guys are 2025 recruits. So it's one of those things where it's smart for them to not, because they still got another year of to essentially be going recruiting trips. So I think I know a lot of people, and people are always going to have that. So this is they're in a perfect spot to, hey, let's just shop around and just see, go on some recruit visits and just be shopping around. And like I said,
Right.
I think unless you're dead set to go to Boulder, you make that move. But I mean, I can understand, and they probably will come back. I mean, the circumstance could definitely change between now and next year when it's time for them to sign their letter of intent. So that 2025 class, I kind of get it. I know a lot of people have been saying that's it's a big deal, but I mean, this happens to every program. I think that's one thing too where it's unfortunate with this Colorado situation where it's like everybody makes like such a big deal about it because Nick Saban, this happens to Nick Saban all the time. This happens to Kirby Smart every day. So,
Right.
but I think this was a success because I think the simple fact that this is just a stepping stone to something great.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the thing I look at from the standpoint because he's made Colorado relevant. I mean, we talked about it even last year where, a team that was 1-11 and we're like, okay, well, he's definitely going to bring some eyeballs because you think about it, this time last year, so much that was going on between the college football playoff. But hearing Deion Sanders saying he coming to Colorado, that shows you that was going to generate the stuff. And then he made, and even though it's crazy because even though the Pac-12 has been successful in so many ways, like as far as it's like one of the best conferences in college football, but he made this conference relevant. And I always said that was going to be kind of one of the key things for him coming to here, even though the play has been great. When you look at now, we got two teams that, as far as Oregon and Washington is going to play on Friday. That's, that is concerned. And then, and I think, and I know I know you said, Jordan, as far as when it comes to may not be in the conversation next year, but I like the Big 12. You guys got a legitimate shot, especially when we talk about 12 teams in the college football playoff next year. So you would assume that they're going to at least maybe get potentially two teams potentially in there, because obviously I don't know how the committee going to look at it next year, because obviously without a Texas or Oklahoma, are they going to really look at the Big 12 as a serious conference? And we know that's how it is, like even with the Pac-12, like how, as far as that's concerned. So how they'll look at that, how they'll look at the Big 12 next year with them being there. And like you said, it's definitely a whole lot better schedule next year. Because you, like I said, you got to worry about Oregon, you got to worry about Washington, USC. You got some pretty good teams on that on there. But I think this year, obviously, I think that loss at Stanford, I think really did y'all in. I think when you look at just the fact of it just took the win out their sails. I mean, especially after having that game against Arizona State and winning in that fashion, then come back 5 days later and then lose to them on, like I said, on Friday the 13th out of all days. Something crazy that happened. So,
one thing they got though, the first time they all played together, and I think next season I think there's a lot of pluses, man.
Yeah, but
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm definitely curious how y'all gonna play in the Big 12 next year. That's why I think y'all legitimately, you may be team 13 next year, but or worse as far as that. But I mean, I could definitely see them at least doing that thing in the Big 12. Like I don't, obviously they're not gonna be, like 1-8 in the Pac-12 like they did this year. So how that's gonna play out.
To me, it's better for them to win than lose. I hate to say that. You know that it's better for them to win because it was so much excitement when they were winning. You know what I mean? I hate to say that like that, but it just was. Everybody was talking about it, everybody was promoting them, and it was just different. You got all these different actors and stars and all these, what I'm saying? But then once they started losing, that started changing. You know what I mean? So I think that I don't think they knew that this was going to be as big as it got. I think it got so big so fast that they was like, oh my God, we got to calm this down. Like it got to the point where LeBron then was like, yeah, cameras in the locker room. You know what I mean? It was just getting real big. It got big real fast. You know what I mean? Then it just wouldn't stop. Every time it seemed like it was calming down, then you got your core doing this. Then it was something. It was just starting to be a lot. And then to the point that somebody stole their stuff at the UCLA game. Like that was crazy.
Man, that was crazy. And and that was the recruits. That was such a crazy story. And they stole stuff from UCLA too. And it's crazy. And they bought and the parents mailed the stuff back to the players.
I didn't realize that happened.
Yeah, because it was a bunch of kids that was getting that was on a recruiting trip from UCLA. That that UCLA hosted, I think. Well, it had to be UCLA had to host it, but yeah, there was a bunch of kids that was on a recruiting trip. That was crazy. That was so bizarre. Yeah.
How did they get in there? Like,
That's what I want to know. Because you were saying they would have security.
Security.
Hey, what you kids doing in here? Get out of here. That much stuff? They stole a lot, man.
Yeah, they stole stuff on UCLA end too.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Man.
Wow.
That's crazy. Yeah. I know, man. That was really bizarre. Right.
Hey Jordan, the movie's going to be crazy. There's so much stuff going on. They probably gonna have to make it a next Netflix series. That's so crazy.
Hey, I'd be all right with that. I wouldn't mind my program being featured. Any good publicity, any publicity is good. So
Right,
At
I
this
can't
point,
believe
right.
Rick Cruz stole it. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. That was so crazy. So we gotta go into our game to watch this weekend. So this week's game to watch is powered by the good folks at SeatGeek. Head over to SeatGeek.com. Use the promo code CouchCoach at checkout for your first purchase to get $20 off your first purchase. So if it's a game that you want to watch this weekend that you actually want to go to, just go on over to SeatGeek. Use my promo code CouchCoach. Get yourself $20 off. So Jordan, what's your game to watch this weekend?
I've got to go with the Pac-12 championship because it's really whoever wins this game is most likely going to be in the college football playoff between Oregon and Washington. It's going to be a heck of a game. The question is, can Bo Nix and that Oregon offense, score some points on the Washington defense? We know how good they are. And then on the contrary, can the Washington offense score on the Oregon defense? It's going to be one of those games that it could be the last team with the ball wins this football game.
Yeah, similar to that first matchup in the regular season, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah, and man, sad. It's a sad night on Friday. The Pac-12 football, man.
I've never understood why they have that championship game on Friday. Move it to
Friday
Saturday.
night. I know, because I don't think there's no really reason why not to have it, especially in prime time. Because I mean, you look at it, because Alabama, Georgia play at 4. And I mean, who really watching the Big 12? I mean, the Big 10 championship.
No,
I mean, because
nobody.
So right, because so I like they could have had a way where they could have put that in at least prime time, or or they could have just have it at night, like a 10 o'clock game. I don't know, but yeah, the Pac-12, man, sucks, man. But
Deion didn't like that. Them 10 o'clock games
No.
on Friday. Oh, he couldn't stand it.
no.
10 o'clock games anywhere was bad.
Yeah,
Because it's 8 o'clock in Boulder. Who's staying up for
I
those
know,
games in
right?
Boulder?
I
No.
did quite a few times.
Yikes. That's wow. Yeah. Them things, you'll wake up the next morning, you're like, it will regret. You're like, God, like I've literally been up here since 2 o'clock in the morning watching the game.
You don't even understand.
Man,
like I had to go to work early, and I was like, I don't even think this was worth it, especially when they lost. You know what I mean? Like I would turn the game off and then look at Google, and I'm like, they tied? Are you serious? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, that mess, that timing. Yeah, so it'll definitely be a lot different now with them being in the Big 12 next year. You don't think you have late starts like that. So
right.
No.
That's a good thing. Yeah. So what's your game to watch this weekend, Mallory?
I got the 76ers versus the Celtics, the Nuggets versus the Suns, and the Broncos versus the Chargers.
Oh yeah, I think it's Houston. Don't they play Houston?
Yeah, my bad. I put the wrong thing.
I had Houston. Yeah, I was trying to say
Yeah,
that's what I
I had
was
to say,
saying.
that's my bad. I was tired.
Yeah,
Versus the Texans, because I
yeah,
think that's gonna be a real good game. The Broncos been on a little roll. So.
yeah.
And there's
That's what I had.
And the thing about CJ Stroud is he hasn't. I mean, our defense has gotten so much better, so he hasn't seen. I want to say he hasn't seen a defense like us. So the question is, can he pass over our defense with Justin Simmons, Patrick Surtain the second? I mean, that's definitely gonna be a good game.
Yeah, because that's almost like a de facto playoff game, because I think Houston is 8th and y'all are 9th.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
exactly.
And especially now you're looking at Indianapolis in that 7th spot. So you're like, it's a good opportunity to kind of take advantage of that. I don't know how long the George God is going to lead this team to, I don't know if it's going to be a situation where he's going to lead this team to a playoff potentially, but we shall see. I think that too. And then I think Philly versus San Francisco. To me, I think that's definitely going to be the NFC Championship game all over again. I think it's going to play it out again, and this is essentially San Francisco opportunity if they want to at least have a conference championship game in Santa Clara. They got to get it done on Sunday. So yeah, because it's one of those where Philly pretty much, if they win, they pretty much sew it up. So get to a point where I know we look at the NFC and we look at them as tiers, but I think Philly and San Francisco in a tier of their own. Then we got other tiers, but I definitely don't think that these two teams, when they're healthy, especially if they have a quarterback, we know that the San Francisco team could be somewhat of Philly's kryptonite. So that's concerned. Right. So, but like you said, Houston, Denver, that's gonna be, that's playoff implications right there. Mm-hmm. And I think you've already beat Cleveland, so that's another one thing you got. The one thing that you got above them, I think, because Cleveland is either 5th or 6th. I think they're 6th. Mm-hmm. So I think that's another one where that you guys can rise up. And then, like I said, I don't really think Indianapolis is going to do nothing. I think Indianapolis is just kind of one of those where I think things just fall into their lap,
Right.
So and who knows? Broncos could potentially make the playoffs, and I don't know. I don't know. Your boy Sean Payton might be the coach of the year if he pull this off.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. If he do this, I'm like, people talking about DeMeco Ryans and we talking about Dan Campbell. I'm like, I don't know if old Sean Payton, because
right.
Oh, that's he should be the comeback coach. They should make an award for that alone. Like for him to come back.
Right.
Dude, they was ready. They was brought shoot. Thank God y'all ain't got the Teppers. Lord have mercy. Sean Payton would have been gone about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Actually, he might have been fired after the Miami game.
Right. Shit, the way y'all got fired after y'all lost to us. When we been playing, Temple would have been like, "Oh, you out." But hey, things. That's what happens when you have stable ownership. Hopefully, I digress about that point. So that's what happens. You don't have to worry about that. So, we can do our pick 7. So this is definitely gonna be an interesting week because obviously we got college football conference championships. So this is gonna be interesting. If you guys can play along with the exercise if you want after we do the picks. Who'll be your 4 teams in the college football playoff? Because I know I did mine based on kind of how I got this going as far as my picks and stuff. But I mean, it's just a fun little exercise if you want to participate. Ain't no biggie. If you don't, that's cool. All right, so we got the Seahawks and the Cowboys on Amazon. What you got, Jordan?
I gotta go with the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay. What you got, Mal?
Seahawks.
Okay.
Shame yourself, Jordan.
Give me Dallas. I think Dallas will win with Arlington football team.
Oh.
All right. So we had the first college football conference championship game, a Friday night affair, a farewell to a institution that is the Pac-12. Oh boy, I knew this day was gonna come, but hey, are we really ready? But we got number 5 Oregon versus number 3 for Pac-12 at the dark. One more time, Jordan. One more Pac-12 at the dark. What you got, Jordan?
I've got to go with Oregon. I think Bo Nix is going to play his best game of the year.
All right. And we got Mallory?
Washington.
Okay. Yeah, give me Oregon. The only reason why I say Oregon kind of tease what we talked about as far as the December 9th NBA play-in tournament championship. This is going to be, I think, the game where Bo Nix, I think, is going to clinch the Heisman. I think the boy wonder. Yeah,
30-year-old.
I agree with you 100%, Chris.
The true old dog, OG.
For sure,
my great uncle.
And well deserved. Yeah, well deserved. He's been out there for a long time, and and it's crazy. But and speaking of that, Cam Rising I know this is totally off kilter, but he coming back next year. This man gonna play college football into 2025. He's probably gonna potentially play a college football game in 2025. I think when he graduated with 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's class 2018. That's crazy. That's crazy. That man coming back. That's crazy. But I digress about that point. All right. So we got the not Pac-12, but the Big 12 championship. We got OSU versus Texas. So we got Oklahoma State versus Texas. Who you got, Jordan?
I have to go to Texas. I don't think Oklahoma State can stay on the field with this Texas team.
Yeah. Who you got, Mel?
Texas.
TX. All right. Yeah, give me Texas. Well, I like Mike Gundy. He's a man, but he's not 40 anymore. He's like 53, 54. But yeah, give me Texas, and I think this is gonna be the first domino where S is about to hit the fan, and it's oh boy, we got number one Georgia versus Alabama.
I would love to say Alabama just because I know Nick Saban's going to get that team ready, but I can't do it. I think Georgia's just too well coached. They're going to get the job done and solidify their place in the college football playoff.
Yeah,
I'm going Georgia too.
You got okay. All right, you got UGA. Yeah. I want to be a fire starter, but I'm not an arsonist. I think this is gonna be the first domino that's gonna happen. I think Alabama is gonna win. They're gonna clinch a ticket to the college football playoff. To me, it's gonna be as a number 2 seed. Okay. So prepare yourself. And also with Oregon, I got them as number 3 seed. So like my 2 and 3 is gonna be Bama and Oregon after these predictions. All right. And then we got Louisville versus Florida State. Oh boy, Georgia got Jordan.
I'm still going with. I haven't liked how Florida State has played all year. They've gotten some lucky bounces, but
they losing.
I would love to pick Louisville just for what's the word? But I can't. I gotta go with Florida State. I just think they're the better team.
So we have an undefeated Florida State. Are they gonna get in the dance, Jordan?
I think they will. Yes.
Ain't somebody hurt at Florida State? Did somebody get hurt last
Jordan
game?
Travis, the quarterback, Jordan Travis.
But that team has so much depth, though. That's the thing, is I'm not worried about that. I mean, I could see this potentially being a close game, but I still have to go Florida State. I just feel like they're better than Louisville. But hey, I could be wrong.
All right, what you got, Maui?
I'm going Louis. Because I got a friend of mine in Florida State, and I'm watching her, and she was like, "Oh, we get in at this team, Louisville," and I'm just watching her, and she was like, and she was so distraught. She was like, "Oh my God, he's hurt." You know what I mean? So I was thought about that. I said, "I'm going Louisville."
Yeah, Travis. Yeah. But Jordan Travis got hurt. Yeah, that was devastating. I'm gonna say Louisville. Because I think I want this to happen because I don't want the Florida State heartbreak. Because I know a lot. It's almost like I'm gonna set you up. I don't want you to get set up to fall. Because I know what's going to end up happening, how this plays out. Even though I can see them not being in the playoff. I can see them not even despite winning the ACC championship and going undefeated. Even though we have seen Ohio State do this in the first ever college football playoff and end up winning with a Cardale Jones. But this ain't 2014. And I feel as though they're gonna ding them because of Jordan Travis. And I like just lose Saturday in the cold in Charlotte. Just lose Saturday. Let's all go to bed at least, not having no type of dilemma. Let's not go crazy. All right. Michigan versus Iowa. Jordan, who you got?
I really, really want to pick Iowa, but you know what? I could see Iowa's defense, but you're laughing because I want to pick Iowa so bad to see, I have to go Michigan, unfortunately. I think they'll be the number 2 or 3 seed in the college football playoff.
All right, who you got, Maui? Who you got in this game?
I'm going Michigan.
Yeah. Honestly, if we were going against Iowa, all we had to do is put up 14 points and we'd be the favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's going to be Michigan. So, with that being said, and this is going to sound crazy, this is how I think it's going to all play out on Sunday afternoon. So, I got Michigan as number 1 overall seed. Michigan number 1. Bama 2 because they beat Georgia. 3 Oregon. And if this happened, Austin, Texas, had your wife, had your children, bought your homes. I think Georgia's gonna get that 4th seed even if they lose to Alabama. Could you imagine that happen?
Yeah, I can.
Texas will freak out because they'll be like, first of all, we beat Alabama at Alabama, and we don't make it to the college football playoff. We won our conference. We only lost 1 game. But then you got Georgia in there, and they lost to Alabama, but we beat Alabama. Oh,
that's exactly why we're going to have expanded playoffs.
Austin, Texas will be on fire. You talk about them SEC matchups next year. Oh my God, you talk about a revenge tour like no other. Like, I don't know, but we got a lot of football to for that to happen. But if Texas don't make it after this, because that's right, because they only lost was to Oklahoma, so that's their loss. Was Texas. They only lost to Oklahoma in the state fair. So, yeah. Because at least they can say, well.
So you got 1 Michigan.
Yep.
2 Bama.
Alabama. Yeah.
3 Georgia.
Oregon.
And then 4 you got
Georgia.
That's crazy.
And I think that's so they'll avoid each other at least in the national semifinal. That's kind of how I got it in a sense. But that would be crazy. It would be strange.
How do they even rate this stuff?
Well, a lot of it too just based on like your strength of schedule in a sense, but more so of just like kind of where you at, because obviously you look at because Georgia obviously number 1 because they haven't lost. Michigan got bumped up because of the simple fact they beat Ohio State, which was number 3 in the country at that time, so they get bumped up. Who is third? Third at this current moment is Washington, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think Washington's third. Yeah, so Washington's third, and then Florida State is 4th. Then Oregon is 5th. Oregon is 5th.
And Ohio State 6th, I believe.
6th. And then 7 is Texas, and then Alabama is 8.
Right.
So, and that's slotted, but just because Alabama's their only loss is to Texas. So that's another one where, and then you get 2 SEC teams. They're gonna freak out. They're gonna. Oh man, that's gonna be anarchy, and I'm here for it. Because what's been crazy about this year, we really haven't had any like drama in a sense.
Right.
Like as far as nobody like as far as the movement, as far as college football playoff, really nobody's really has like took their nosedive in a sense. Especially out of the 8 that we kind of discussed.
Mm-hmm.
They've been fairly consistent. But yeah, and I know a lot of people want to put, could potentially put Ohio State in it because I think that's where you look at how they kind of got slotted in where they're at. So it's gonna be fun though. It's gonna be fun this weekend. How it's all gonna play out. But yeah. So then our final game, we got the 49ers at the Eagles. What you got, Jordan?
I got the Eagles. I mean, I know how good the Niners are running the football, but I just think Jalen Hurts is going to eat that defense alive.
All right. You got Malvin?
I'm going to the 49ers because I feel like since that's just the game they've been waiting for. So I know their quarterback is not the quarterback's hurt, right?
Ooh,
But I just Brock Purdy's hurt, right?
I think he's good.
He
I
hurt?
think he's good. I think
He good?
good.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
I haven't,
From what I
I
saw,
haven't seen an injury for him.
this is the game that they said they circled because they believe they should have won the Super Bowl. I mean, they should have won. They should have been at the Super Bowl. So like, from what I've seen today, everybody's like, this is the game. They said, they talk, they bring it up like, man, y'all was almost there. And they like, yeah, this is the game they've been waiting for. So I'm picking the Niners. That don't mean they go. Did they play them in the NFC Championship? They may lose again. You know what I mean? Because you know how emotions can get you. But I think the Niners are gonna get them this game.
Yeah, I think the 49ers gonna take care of business. I mean, just simple fact that, like I said, somewhat of revenge, but more so of, hey, if we want to be in the NFC Championship game and we want in Santa Clara, we gotta win this game. Like, because they got opportunities where they can kind of gain some ground. Because I think even you look at this, and then I think Philly played Dallas. I definitely think that's gonna be one of those where they could potentially lose that Dallas game. So it's kind of one of those where it can be, they got a legitimate shot. I don't think the NFC East, in a sense, has been won quite yet. So this is kind of one of those where I can see San Francisco taking care of business and win this game, and at least giving themselves an opportunity to potentially host the NFC Championship game. So, and then now curious about, you talk about the health of Jalen Hurts, where you look at him, how he's been. I know he's been laboring some issues from time to time, as far as his effectiveness, as far as him being able to run and stuff. You see how it's been kind of limited, So, I was shocked that he went in against Buffalo last week. So, it's one of those where you want to continue to monitor to see what he's going to do. But I definitely think that the 49ers going to win. And why not? So
I think that last week game, the Eagles kind of I think they got the respect that everybody said they're the number one team in the league, not just because of their record. You know what I mean? I think they put their kind of stamp on it.
Yeah, but they definitely cannot turn that ball over. But they still be doing idiotic stuff. And I think a lot of people gonna be thinking like, yo, like Philly can get got. They just ain't play that team that they can get them, well, except for the Jets.
Right.
But yeah, Philly ain't Philly gonna turn the ball over a little bit times, do some little stuff uncharacteristic. Some teams can overcome that. Some can't, but do that against San Francisco, you won't. It's gonna get there. It's gonna get ugly quick.
He's division, man. He's division, bro. Like, that's what it is.
I see it, But yeah. So Jordan, go around the horn, fellas. We'll go around the horn first. Jordan, your game ball this week. Who you got?
Well, I will say the Nuggets on Monday were playing the LA Clippers without Nikola Jokic, without Jamal Murray, and who stepped up? Reggie Jackson, who had 35 points. So my game ball goes to him.
Man,
it's a scary individual.
That was wild. That's wild. And your boy DeAndre Jordan went off. I'm like, what the heck?
He had 20-some points, too. I mean, they were playing like they, for 5-6 years ago, which was nice to see.
Right.
If I was the Clippers, I would trade everybody.
I was Lob
Really,
City
man.
all over again.
That's embarrassing.
It's too late.
Like, it really is, though.
Well, it's too late. What you gonna trade? A 2029 draft pick? That's all. Worse than the Panthers. Like,
Yep.
trading your whole mortgage away. Like, what you gonna give him a fifth grader? What you gonna give him a fifth grader? Yeah. What you gonna get in return?
I said
Like,
Westbrook and Paul George to Toronto.
but what's Drake's son Adonis? That's all you gonna give for him is a little 6-year-old boy. He tall though, but I mean, I'm just saying.
Crazy.
Man, they man trying to do a pitch with the Clippers, man.
Bad, bro.
It's bad business, man. Like, yo, it's like going to the pawn shop. You ain't trying to turn in that PlayStation 3. What you think you gonna get? Nothing. You get a piece of tape. And thank you for coming back. you might get some ice water.
After that game, I just was sitting here thinking to myself because they showed the owner. And, the owner gets real emotional when he watched the games, and I was just sitting here thinking to myself, like, if anything, if I can't trade y'all, I'm firing the GM. I'm doing something. If I can't trade at nobody, I'm firing somebody. Somebody getting fired. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's horrible, man.
I mean, they're only when you think about their tradable assets, you don't even want to get rid of them because I mean, you think about your youth, like you look at like a guy like Terrence Mann, Bones Allen, like you don't want to mortgage your future. I mean,
that's we already traded Reggie Jackson. I mean, geez.
Right? I mean, you traded. Yeah, I mean, you think about you traded like your 3-and-D guy. So it's like I said, who gonna want Russell Westbrook at this time? Who gonna want James? Nobody gonna want no James Harden, So it's a lost cause at this point. You just gotta deal with what you got, because you will get a bunch of you want some draft picks down the line. Maybe the Thunder might give us some draft picks, or at least maybe a 8th grader. At this point, maybe we trade with the Thunder to at least get a second round 8th grader. Something bad there. Maybe the future picks of Bryce James. But Bryce wasn't 11th grade. We can get somebody from NSC at least in 11th grade. And they can get somebody in 11th grade. That's a class of 2025. So that's 2026 pick. That's recent. But yeah, man. Now, who's your game? Who gets who's game ball for you?
I'm giving game ball to Matoka, Hopewell, and Thomas Dale wrestling teams. I just went to one. It was one of the most exciting things I've seen in a long time to see these young men put their heart on the line, to see the parents coaching them. It was real exciting, and then it was kind of sad. I always say that for some of those high school activities is that nobody's there. And this was a trip because you didn't have to pay to come in. They let you eat. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what I said. They let you eat. And it was just really exciting seeing them guys put their heart on the line. You know what I mean? So kudos to them. Game ball goes to them.
Yeah, man. Support high school sports, man. We need to support these young individuals for sure. For sure. Man, I gotta give it to the Highland Springs Springers. The Class 6A regional champs with a 17-16 win over Manchester on Friday. Definitely shout out to them. They gotta play this week in the state semis against Lake Braddock on Saturday. They win that football game on Saturday. They'll punch their ticket to Charlottesville for the Class 6 state championship and potentially a 7th state title in football. So definitely huge shout out to my alum, the Highland Springs Springers, and just keep on going, fellas.
Yeah.
So final thoughts before we head on out. Jordan, what you got? Final thoughts and then social media, what you got going on?
It's just going to be a nice, great weekend of college football because this will determine the college football playoff. As for where you can find me on Twitter or actually whatever it's called, @SportsScoop1 I also have a blog that I write, and that's at sports-scoop.com. I also have my own show called Under Review, which focuses on Colorado sports, and I will tweet that out when I do it on social media.
Yeah, what you got, Mal?
DT Morgan 78, Instagram, and Deshaun Morgan on Facebook. Great show. So happy to see you, Jordan. Colorado, Buffaloes all day.
Hey, at least you support one of my teams, so.
All day. All day. Man. You don't even understand. Beautiful city, too. Boulder is really a beautiful city. You been there, Chris? I mean, Coach?
Nope.
You really got to go. I mean, there's
really beautiful. Man.
It really is with the Flatirons. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful campuses out there.
Yeah, because I think I only been to Colorado. I've been to where y'all practice facility is. Was it Edgewood? The Edge? I forgot. What is it? What's the city?
Inglewood.
Inglewood. Yeah, Inglewood. I've been to Inglewood, Colorado. But that's it. That's it, brother. But yeah. So pretty much the Couch Coach Live, social media, Facebook, Twitter, aka X, at Couch Coach Live. Also the website couchcoachlive.com. Also check out my Washington Command Centric podcast. Thursdays, 9:00 Eastern Standard Time. Command is in the chat. Let's see, I think that's everything. The website, couchcoachlive.com, all that. Yeah, man. Once again, another great show. And also the podcast available anywhere you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, pretty much everywhere. And also on the YouTube as well. So you on YouTube podcast and also that as well. So yeah, once again, another great show. Definitely appreciate Jordan for stopping by, talking a little, coaching, firing, what we always do. For some odd reason, we
I don't know why.
I know when it comes to coaching
hiring, so
yeah. So I get that tradition going, especially as Black Monday is approaching very quickly in the next about 5-6 more weeks. So we definitely gotta. So we probably gonna kick the year off with I'll be on the other side this time. I know Jordan, you on the other side of it last year, but I think I think you don't have to worry about it this year. I think you Sean Payne will be there in 2024.
I would hope so.
I would hope so. If not, then we all have problems. Now it will be potentially 11 vacancies, which I don't envision that, but But yeah, so I'll be on the other side of that. We'll talk about the coaching carousel, as the weeks progress after the regular season, and that'll be fun. Always kind of gauge where we think guys are gonna go, what are gonna be the interchangeable parts, and so that's gonna be fun. So just hate that I'll be on the other side of it, But hey, it's life. It's gonna happen, And this is gonna happen last year, so so we're here. So let's get another great show. Catch you guys next week on another episode of Couch Coach Live, and we're out.
You're welcome.